Hi, Bother Brigade. Here's what's bothering me today. Way too many things. So, I've decided, in the spirit of Christmas, to be a little kind and push all that to Sunday, which I'm pretty sure is going to be Boxing Day. So, yay. But this is actually going to be instead a story, or rather, a video about multiple stories that happen to actually be good instead of bad. Because I'm just seeing also in equal measure a number of good stories. So rather than focus on all the bad, let's focus on some of the good that's been happening very recently, shall we? So right out the gate, we're going to talk about Donald, I have nothing to hide, Trump, where apparently not only is he asking the Supreme Court to block release of White House records about January 6th, which is already, kind of sus, but also there's a video going around of him actually defending vaccines against Candace Owens. And so anytime the right tears itself apart and loves to eat itself, I really love that. Apparently, this also got, what's his face there? The notorious cartoonist Ben Garrison to make, for once, a anti-Trump cartoon because he's saying, oh, vaccine's good. Now, he's probably only saying this because I think he and other people on his team have realized, oh crap, the virus is actually really killing off our voter base. That's kind of bad if we want a future base to try and do, coup number 2 or whatever. So it's not exactly entirely altruistic, but it is still fascinating and hilarious to see. But the other piece of good news from America that comes from this is the fact that Kim Potter, the lady who actually shot Dante Wright in that very violent police killing, I think her excuse, if I remember correctly, from all the terrible, deaths involving African Americans over the past few years, her thing was, oh, I thought it was my taser, but it was actually her gun. But she has recently been found and charged with manslaughter, so she's been found guilty. I have to say that's at least a bit of good news. Is it entire justice? No, but it's still good to see. That is the second cop from Minneapolis that has been found guilty, so I'll take a win where I can get one. The other thing is that right now, Matrix Resurrections has hit theaters. Now, I haven't seen it yet because right now someone is basically going to have to pay me Bezos bucks in order to actually sit in a theater for a few hours. But apparently, according to people who have been, it's really good. And on top of that, I just really love seeing all my trans comrades being really happy for once. That is just really good to see that they get a nice thing every so often. So that's another good news story. Having a little moment of joy in an otherwise, again, terrible year, right? So that's another good thing. A couple more good things. I think I'm going to have to splice a video in here because the internet is absolutely dunking on this video about NFT meta girlfriends.
This NFT is changing the game. Meta Girlfriends allows you to have a metaverse girlfriend with their own unique personality. They already sold out of their pre-sale 1,000 NFTs, so the hype is real. They're introducing a brand new feature where you can combine multiple NFTs into a more rare one in something called the Rainbow Room. They're minting tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern, so check it out.
I mean, I've already been over it before that NFTs are a scam, but now this is just so fucking sad. But I like to see the internet dunking on this, and in tangentially related good news, because people were so upset about all this NFT crap, which again, as I point out before, is just a money laundering scam. But like, games were planning on releasing NFTs and gamers said, no, absolutely not. And so they actually pulled back on it. So you love to see that as well. And the final, just like, it's not really a full story, but it just shows how ineffective the leadership is here in Ontario. Recently in Thunder Bay, there was a historic building that burned down and people were very upset about it because of all the history behind it. And Doug Ford, the Premier of Ontario, said, oh yes, this is very sad. My condolences to the people of #North Bay. And North Bay is not Thunder Bay. They're literally like hundreds of kilometers apart. Yeah, so, that's just a sign of the times and touches on how Northern Ontario is functionally ignored by Southern Ontario and the GTA specifically. But all in all, again, it's still good to see people rightly dunking on Doug Ford, our just buffoon of a premier. all that said, that's just a nice little collection of stories that I saw just from today. Has it been an overall, good week? Maybe, maybe not. Who knows what other good news is floating out there, but these are what? 4, 5, maybe 6, depending how you want to define the NFT one. Decent stories that, should bring a smile to your face, a little bit of Christmas cheer. And, the thing about a lot of these stories, right? And not to fully take away from, how nice or funny they are, but I think it is very telling that the fact that even these relatively minor stories can instill such joy, which speaks to the unfortunate dystopia we live in. But again, because I don't want to, do the whole downer thing, the flip side of that is that there is still goodness that is happening. There are attempts at justice being served. Queer people get to enjoy nice things. We get to mock and deride people for just ridiculous things still on the internet. That hasn't been taken away from us yet. We have Trump running scared, and also the hilarity of Trump being not only in favor of vaccines, but now that's causing, parts of his base to turn on him, which, that is just mwah. But, it's all to say that even in the span of one day, you can get a bunch of really decent stories. And I think, we need that, especially around Christmas time. So I hope some, if not all of these stories put at least a little bit of a smile on your face. And I hope everyone's continuing to try and be safe given, all the other terribleness in the world that we didn't talk about today, which we're going to talk about on Sunday. Fun day. But I hope people got something positive out of this, especially given that there's been arguably very little of it. And especially with, a lot of people canceling Christmas plans because of the Omicron variant and, feeling put upon it, stressed, exhausted, tired of, the whole capitalist dystopia, all of that, right? I hope this brought a little respite and some fun for your soon to arrive holiday season. And the fact that unfortunately this stuff is quite rare these days is definitely what's bothering me today.